Howdy y'all, welcome back to my channel. Boy, do I have a big ol' update for you today. It's probably going to be a little bit of a long video, so buckle your britches. I decided, I know I'm late, today I'm filming this, it's February 2nd, and I'm sorry that I haven't really kept up with my Project Pans updates. And you know that I normally don't even update until there's noticeable progress, because I just feel like it's boring if there's no progress. But there has been quite a bit of progress, and so I feel like I need to update you. And it also a reason why my intro for my 2020 eyeshadow panning thing was delayed is because I had a really hard time deciding what route I wanted to take with it. And so I think I've decided how to at least start it, and then I was thinking towards the end of the video I'll tell you kind of my options that I have for later on in the year. But what I wanted to start with is obviously you can tell by the title that I'm going to be updating you on my Pan That palette that I had from last year. And then I'm also going to be introducing a new panning eyeshadow project called Panning Solitaire. So my, I guess I'm just going to show you what the palette that from last year is looking like, and then I'll go into discussing. But before I show you what it looks like now, I actually did film a finale of my palette from last year, and I'm just going to insert a clip here of what it looked like during the finale. I filmed the finale on December 30th of last year, and so I thought you would want to see that to see where it's gone from there to now, and then I'll explain the rest. So here's that clip, and this is what it's looking like now. So, as you can see, we've got a pretty big pan in this purple shade, which was repressed. And my goal last time was to possibly hit pan in these two, which didn't happen. But they do have really large dips. I don't know if you can tell exactly how big the dips are, but they're really big. Okay, so now this is what it's looking like now. I haven't really watched that clip recently, but from what I know, I honestly don't remember what it looked like in that clip. But I know for sure this shade is completely gone now, and it's not because I used it up. I mixed it with something to put it into my Panning Solitaire, and so that shade's gone, but it's not technically finished. And then this one has quite a big pan on it now. I had repressed it already, and now it's getting close to gone. This shade, I think the pan has expanded. I'm sure these have expanded slightly, but not a whole lot, I guess. And then these two did not have pan last time, and obviously they still don't. But I haven't been working on these two shades. I've been prioritizing these three because I just want to finish them. But I do need to start working on these two more. But yeah, this is what it's looking like now, and my goal is to completely finish this palette this year. I think I have 10 eyeshadow palettes in my collection, and I do definitely think it's doable to completely finish this palette this year. So I would love to be down to 9 eyeshadow palettes by the end of the year. And so yeah, that's what that's looking like. And that one has 7 pans left in it. But these two I don't use as eyeshadow, I only use for my brows. And I do have a brow pencil in my 20 and 2020 project. So that's kind of taking up some space. I used to constantly use this, and now I'm I only use these really when I'm going out, and then I use the pencil on the day-to-day just because the pencil's faster. Because I don't really get super detailed with it or anything. So yeah, that's what that's looking like. And then this is what's going, oh, you know what? I forgot part of it. If you're a big fan of panning videos, I'm sure you've already seen some people upload their intro for their Panning Solitaire. And basically what it is you pan a single and then a duo and then a trio and then a quad or whatever, and you just keep going up in number. And you can work on them simultaneously, but like say I had a quad and I finished a quad, I couldn't say that I finished the quad until I had finished the single, the duo, and the trio. So they have to be like panned in order. But yeah, say I'll still finish the quad ahead of time, but then the moment I finish the 3-pan is when I can finally claim, oh, I finished the quad, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's just kind of how that works. And so the single, all of these shades have been frankened. The single that I'm going to be introducing is this one. It's not a face powder. This is actually about 6 creamish shadows that I had in my collection that I frankened together. And I just did that because I use this shade to set my eyeshadow every day. And so you can kind of see it's got a dip, and I don't know how the lighting is, but anyway, you can tell it's been worn, and I think I can definitely finish it this year just because every single time I do my eyeshadow, I use this to set my primer all over my whole lid. So that's my single. So that's kind of make it a little bit harder on me because this one will probably be in for a good portion of the year, I'm guessing. And then my duo is these two, and I have been working on all these shadows that I showed you, this one and then the one I'm about to show you. I've actually been working on it for about a month because well, maybe a little less than a month. So yeah, so keep in mind this is not fresh, but this is my duo, and this one is I'll explain this one first. This one is the one that I frankened from that palette. So I took the beigey shade out of here and frankened it with a darker brown, one of my older darker browns. It was like a giant dark brown, so I just like kind of shaved some off the top and mixed it with that beige to get me a little bit of a brown. And I needed that because I created these shades to complement with this. So I thought that brown shade, the matte brown, would complement well with the, sorry, it's hard to hold both. Okay, I thought it would do well with, oh gosh, I almost dropped that. Okay, with this shade, Gilded, and then also the brown goes well with this shade, Starlit. And then, yes, because I don't use these on my eyes because they're like really good brow matches for me, so I don't want to like use them up very fast. So yeah, I kind of made them as complementary shades. And then for this one, this shade came out of a different palette, and I just repressed it into here because the palette that it came out of is one of those that has like really skinny pans, and I hate skinny pans because I use like big fluffy brushes, and so I just didn't want to mess with that. And so these are actually all blush pans, as you can probably tell by all the pink. And I like kind of prepped my way because at the beginning of the year I was planning on going gung-ho panning Solitaire, but then later on I realized that I just really want to finish completely this palette. So this is definitely my top priority, is finishing this palette. But I did need a couple complementary shades to help me pan this palette for one. And I don't know if you've seen my other projects, but I do have 3 different shades of eyeshadow in my A to Z project pan, which I probably need to update soon. And this shade goes well with one of the shades. It's like a mauve pink shimmer that I have in my A to Z. I needed a matte mauve shade to go with that, so that's why I created this one, because I thought it went well with the matte mauve the shimmer mauve that I have. I needed a matte. So yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but this shade, I actually just hit this pan today, and that's why I was like, oh my gosh, I need to create this intro because it's going to be disappointing if I already have a huge pan when I'm starting it. So, and I think the pan's going to expand pretty rapidly because as you can tell here, in these other pans, they have quite a bit of like raised surface, and so I am sure that by next update, all this little etchy area is going to be showing. So yeah, that's kind of where I am on that. So I don't know. I'm gonna just go with the flow and do whatever I feel like, honestly. As far as when I'm gonna be adding in the trio and the quad and the rest, because my ultimate goal. Okay, so I have two options basically. It would be really cool if I could work my way all the way up to, this one has 7. So this could be my final in my panning solitaire. So if I could finish a duo, a trio, a quad, 5, and then whatever you call it, a hex, I don't know, a hex, whatever, 6 pans, then this could be my finale of like, because I'll finish this first, but this could be considered in my panning solitaire. So that's one option. I could just keep filling these other pans up with other things and try to work my way up to there. But I don't think that's realistic because of the amount of eyeshadow I already have to work through. Like that's, I think I could, like if I was only focusing on these, I could probably finish it by July, I guess. So then basically my dilemma is I have another half a year to work on things. If I were to finish all this by July. So what I could either do with that is continue filling these pans out and continue building up my panning solitaire basically, or I can introduce a new pan that palette and get a head start on a different palette. If I don't feel like, basically if I were to do this palette, I would be frankening more shades. And I'll show you later in the video what I would be frankening. But yeah, so basically I'm kind of at a dilemma and I don't think it's necessary for me to decide now. But either I think for right now my focus is finishing these. Because this might last all year since it's like 7 eyeshadows in one. But I'm still counting it as my single because it's technically like one shadow now. So yeah, I really want to finish these, but say I finish all that within, and honestly, I've been wearing makeup much more often than normal, probably like 6 days a week or so, and that's like so much more than I used to. I used to only do it about 2 days a week, but I've just been finding myself that I've been doing it a lot more lately. And so yeah, so my option, if I decide to go the continue solitaire route, what I would be pulling out of is this palette. This is another Makeup Revel, or this one's Ulta Gilded Gold, but this is my second oldest palette. I got these around the same time. I think I got this about maybe 1 year before this one, but I got both of them in junior high, so they're both really old. This is supposed to be a dupe for the Naked 2 palette. I don't know if y'all saw, but that Naked 2 palette's on sale at Ulta today. But anyway, so this shade right here is the one that I took out and repressed into this duo. That shade right there came from this. And then this I mixed with a highlight that I'm kind of using it as an inner corner highlight, and I just have that. It's not in a project. I'm just kind of working on it, but I just wanted to tell you what that's from. This was like a beige base shade, and it's included in this along with about 5 other cream shades. And then the rest of these have some use, but you know, they have a long way to go. But that being said, most of these shadows are a bit too dark for my liking. I don't often do like dark eyeshadow. Like I think light eyeshadow suits my fair skin better. So if I were to continue with the Painting Solitaire, I would be mixing these with lighter shades to create colors that would be suitable for my skin and just for my habits, you know. So what I would be doing is frankening like a chunk of them, like piece, and whatever ends up in each pan is the shadow. Like, I'm not considering like, oh, I'm gonna pan this entire thing. No, it's gonna be frankened with something, and whatever ends up in this pan is one shadow. Because realistically, like, this technically is 2 shadows that I frankened together. This one's technically 7, but I'm really counting this is 1, this is 1, this is 1, and then, you know, just whatever I franken, my franken product is the 1. And I don't know if y'all watch like Jessica Lee, but she basically, her system is like not realistic for me because I would just get too confused trying to keep up with where I got like what everything came out of. So the franken product is considering 1 product. And yes, I know that adds to my numbers as far as like how many eyeshadows I have, but I honestly just don't care as long as the amount of product stays the same. And I did a similar thing with my blushes, is I created a bunch of franken blushes. If you watched my inventory, I have so many franken blushes. But I didn't buy that. It was just product that I already had that I mixed other things with in order to get a shade that I really wanted. And so now I have like all the blush I could want basically. And I didn't buy more product. I just frankened what I had to make the shades I wanted. Okay, and then what I would be mixing along with this, I'm not like in a hurry to finish this because I'll be very happy if I just finish this year. This is my main goal, finish that. But if I do finish that and I continue to do the painting solitaire route, I will be mixing these with some of these shade from an Ulta Christmas kit that I have from, this is from the 2018 Christmas kit, I believe. And so I'll take off this lid so you can get a better look at the shades. But I've already been working on this. All these pans that have been pulled out, they're not like, I didn't throw them out. I have been frankening them. So I'm pretty sure these 2 shades are frankened in with this because they were like lighter shades that could work for that. And then all the rest of these have been used. It's not like I wasted them and just like threw them out. And then these 2 were glitter shades that I have in my A to Z project. So yeah, I just want you to know that I didn't waste any of these. But anyway, so I'm not planning on wasting them. So yeah, I could conceive, you know, maybe I'm gonna have like later on in the year, say that blue is super popular because that blue is like the color of the year or whatever. I could franken some of these blues together and then pop them into one of these pans, and that could be, you know, the start of a trio or whatever. So yeah, that's my second thing I can add to my painting solitaire from. Okay, now the other option, if I don't decide by that time to continue the painting solitaire route, I can use, make use on one of my other palettes, such as, honestly, a lot of this depends on what job I get, because if you didn't know, I'm graduating in May, and so I'm thinking, yeah, I'll be nearly done, probably, hopefully, with these two by around that time. And then when I start my new job, I'll know like what type of makeup that I'm gonna be wearing, because I don't think I've talked much about on my channel about like what my education background is, but it's very diverse. I have a science major, and it's like a specialty sort of thing. And then I also have 3 business minors. So I could be going into the business field or into the science field, or, you know, a combination of both. And so it just really depends. Like if I'm working in a lab, I might not, you know, want to do makeup all the time. So I might want to just keep it easy on myself and add a trio. But if I'm, say, working in an office setting, or if I'm a manager, I might want to have fun and play with some of my newer palettes that I haven't gotten a chance to work on much yet. I'm just laughing because of how long I've been talking about eyeshadow, and I applaud you if you're still here with me. But yeah, I really like eyeshadow updates, so this is like my favorite thing of like other people's to watch, so maybe someone's here with me still. But anyway, so that's what I'm thinking. If I don't decide to do the solitaire route, I can just create I can just start on an entirely new palette. Like my thought was either, I know that I've heard ABH formula goes bad quickly, so I was debating working on my Darvina or my Sultry or both together, because I know that those shades are very easy to like hit pan on. And if I were to let me be clear, if I were to do the 6-month thing and quit the painting Solitaire and go on to working on another palette, my goal would not be to finish that palette, because I know that's not realistic. My goal would be to hit pan on as many shades as possible just to get progress. And when we get closer to time, I'll have you guys help me decide what to do, or if I don't like have the decision made up. So I could do Norvina and Sultry at the same time, or I could do my big ol' Jaclyn Hill palette, the Morphe one. I know everyone pretty much and their mother has that palette, so I think that would be fun for y'all to watch, because just everyone has it, so it's relatable, you know. Or my favorite palette I have in my collection is my Pure Visionary palette, and I would be very sad to use it up, but at the same time I'm scared of it going bad, because I have had it. That was my first high-end palette that I ever bought, so I bought that before I bought Norvina or Sultry, and the shelf life on it says 6 months. But obviously, like, I'm going to use it way past that, but, like, and it's already been way past that. But I would just die if those shadows went bad, because that's literally my favorite eyeshadow palette. So I could maybe make some progress on that and just hit pan, like, even if it's baby pan on those, just so I know if it does go bad, I got good use out of it. And I would cry if that palette went bad, because that's, like, my special occasion palette that I use for, like, because the metallics in it are so gorgeously foiled. Like, it looks like, I don't know, I can't even explain, it's just so pretty. I'm doing my friend's makeup for her wedding, and I'm planning on using that palette because it's just so gorgeous. Anyway, so yeah, those are my options for my other that I was considering. I think if I decide to do the pan that palette route after and don't continue with the Solitaire, I most likely won't want to play with these, because these are not exciting to me. These just aren't. I don't want to do a pan that palette, because these to me are comparable to this, and I prefer this over both of those. So I don't want to trap myself into like trying to pan the whole thing of one of those. I think, you know, if I could just inch away progress at that, I would be happy just to have some progress, but not necessarily like finishing, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think that's about all for my update. I will try to insert a video of all of the updates thus far on this palette, because technically, I guess, I already have 4 updates up on my channel, and then the clip I showed you earlier, I'm considering update 5, because that's the one I took at the end of December, and then this is going to be update 6. So my next update, it'll say something like update 7 and panning Solitaire. So yeah, but technically I guess I could include this in my panning Solitaire, but I just think it's weird since I like skipped 3, 4, 5, and 6, so it doesn't really make sense to do that. So I'm just still gonna consider this a pan that palette, and then the panning Solitaire is separate. But I'm gonna update both at the same time in the same video, because it's all eyeshadow. But also I want to let you know that my next videos will not be this long. I just wanted to explain kind of why I've taken so long to update this, and also my like hesitations with the project. And so hopefully I explained that well enough that you understand why it took me so long, and also sort of my dilemma, and maybe if you have an opinion of what you think I should do at the 6-month mark, if you think I should continue the panning Solitaire or what, or do the other thing like I said. I think if I have like, I don't know, it really depends on my job. I'll say that much, but hopefully y'all say a prayer for me, or if you're not religious, just whatever you do, send good vibes my way that I get a really good job, because I think I'm being a little bit like ahead of myself, I guess, because most science majors, they already kind of know what they're going to be doing. Like a lot of people who have my major are going to medical school, and I could go to medical school. Like, I have all the requirements for it. I haven't taken the MCAT though, and I just don't want to go to medical school right now because I mentally just can't take it right now. So I'm kind of like taking a break from school, and I might do it later on, but probably not. So we'll see. But anyway, just pray that I get a good job and that everything works out. And I just want to say God bless y'all, and God bless your family, and y'all have an amazing day or night. And thanks so much for watching my video. Bye.